If you are planning to buy a home in 2026, stop everything you're doing right now. You are walking directly into a financial trap engineered by Wall Street and the Federal Reserve. They promised you that housing prices would crash, but while you are sitting on the sidelines waiting, they are quietly changing the rules so that you will be forced to rent for the rest of your life. If you're planning to buy a home in 2026, stop everything you're doing right now. You are walking directly into a financial trap engineered by Wall Street and the Federal Reserve. They promised you that housing prices would crash, but while you are sitting on the sidelines waiting, they are quietly changing the rules so that you will be forced to rent for the rest of your life. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are tearing down the biggest lie currently being sold to the American middle class. We are going to look at the unvarnished, brutal data of the 2026 housing market. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why the crash you're waiting for is a mathematical impossibility, and more importantly, you will learn the exact strategies you must use to protect your wealth and secure a home without becoming a victim of the system. For the last 4 years, financial gurus and mainstream media anchors have been telling you to be patient. They pointed to the skyrocketing interest rates and said it was only a matter of time before the housing bubble popped, just like it did in 2008. They told you that sellers would panic, inventory would flood the market, and you would finally be able to scoop up a beautiful home for a fraction of the cost. Millions of families listened to this advice. They renewed their leases, they held on to their cash, and they waited. But let us look at reality. It is the middle of 26. The average 30-year fixed mortgage rate is sitting stubbornly near 7%. And despite these suffocating rates, home prices have not collapsed. In fact, in many markets, they are quietly creeping even higher. You need to ask yourself a very serious question. Why didn't the market crash? The answer is a phenomenon that economists are now calling the golden handcuffs. This is the first trap. To understand it, you have to look at the psychology and the math of the current American homeowner. During the pandemic, millions of people refinanced or bought homes at historic, artificially low interest rates, usually around 2 or 3%. Now, imagine a family that bought a home in 2021. They have a 3% mortgage and their monthly payment is roughly $2,000. Today, maybe they want to move. Maybe they had another child, or maybe they got a new job in a different state. If they sell that house and buy the exact same model across the street at today's 7% interest rate, their monthly payment would instantly jump to almost $3,500. The math is financially suicidal. Moving would literally cost them over $100,000 in pure interest payments over the life of the new loan. So what do? They stay put. They refuse to sell. They are wearing golden handcuffs. Because nobody's selling, the housing market has been completely starved of inventory. Existing home sales have plummeted to historic lows. And when there is no supply, prices do not fall. They stay artificially high, creating a permanent barrier for first-time buyers. The market is completely frozen. But listen very closely, because this is where the story turns incredibly dark. While you are locked out of the market by high rates, a massive predator is quietly buying up your neighborhood. Institutional investors, massive private equity firms, and Wall Street hedge funds are currently executing the greatest land grab in modern history. These multi-billion-dollar corporations do not care about the Federal Reserve raising interest rates. They do not go to a local bank to apply for a mortgage. They operate strictly in cash. They are walking into middle-class neighborhoods and purchasing single-family homes entirely in cash, often bidding 20 to 30% over the asking price. No inspections, no contingencies, just brute financial force. Why are they doing this? Because their ultimate goal is not to flip the house for a quick profit. Their goal is to turn the American dream of home ownership into a permanent subscription service. They want to own the entire neighborhood and rent it back to you forever. Every time you lose a bidding war on a starter home, there's a very high probability you lost it to a corporate algorithm. Wall Street has realized that a single-family home is the ultimate appreciating asset, and they are using their unlimited cash reserves to ensure the middle class can never own one again. And if you think you're safe just because you already own a home, you are walking blindly into the second phase of the trap. Let us assume you beat the odds. You fought through the high interest rates, you outbid the Wall Street corporations, and you finally got the keys to your house. You think you have won the game, but the purchase price was just the bait. In 2026, we are witnessing a catastrophic explosion in the hidden costs of homeownership. Property taxes and home insurance premiums are destroying the middle class from the inside out. According to recent data from Harvard, property taxes surged over 30% in just a few years, driven by the massive artificial inflation of home values. The local governments are reassessing your home at its new inflated value, and they are sending you the bill. But the insurance crisis is the real nightmare. Across the country, home insurance premiums have climbed 46%. In states like Florida, California, and Texas, insurance companies are simply packing up and leaving. They are canceling policies by the tens of thousands. If you can actually find a company willing to insure your house, the premiums are astronomically high. We are now seeing a terrifying new trend in 2026. Foreclosure filings are spiking, but people are not losing their homes because they lost their jobs. They are losing their homes because the combined cost of their property tax and their insurance premium has eclipsed their actual mortgage payment. Imagine spending 30 years paying off your home, finally owning it free and clear, only to have the state foreclose on you because you cannot afford a $5,000 property tax and a $4,000 insurance bill. You can do everything perfectly right, and the system is still mathematically designed to bleed you dry. So what have we actually learned today? We have learned that the 2008-style housing crash is a myth designed to keep you waiting on the sidelines while Wall Street buys up the inventory. We have learned that the golden handcuffs have destroyed the supply of existing homes. We have learned that institutional investors are turning home ownership into a corporate subscription model. And we have learned that the hidden costs of taxes and insurance are acting as a silent wealth tax on the working class. The system is entirely rigged against the individual buyer. But you do not have to be a victim. You can navigate this trap if you use the same tactical mindset as the wealthy. Here's your defense blueprint. First, you must completely stop waiting for a national real estate crash. Real estate is hyper-local. Instead of looking at national headlines, you need to identify micro markets. Look for emerging tech hubs or secondary cities in the Midwest where new construction is heavily outpacing population growth. Builders are desperate to move inventory because they have massive corporate loans to pay off. They will offer you aggressive incentives like buying down your interest rate by 2 full points or covering all of your closing costs. New construction is currently the only sector of the market where you actually have negotiating power. Second, you must learn how to hunt for assumable mortgages. If you find a seller who financed their home with a government-backed FHA or VA loan a few years ago, you have the legal right to assume their loan. This means you can literally take over their 3% interest rate and bypass the current banking environment entirely. It requires more cash up front to cover their existing equity, but it will save you hundreds of thousands of dollars in interest over the next 3 decades. Third, you must radically redefine what a starter home looks like. The days of buying a quiet, single-family home in the suburbs for your first property are over. If you want to survive the hidden costs of taxes and insurance, you must utilize house hacking. You need to buy a duplex, a triplex, or a home with a finished basement that you can legally rent out. You must have a tenant actively subsidizing your massive monthly payment. The only way to beat the corporate landlords is to become a micro-landlord yourself. The American housing market is no longer a stepping stone to middle-class wealth. It is a financial battlefield. The corporations want you to rent forever, and the local governments want to tax whatever you manage to own. You must fight back with extreme financial literacy and aggressive strategy. If this video opened your eyes to the reality of the 2026 housing trap, hit the like button right now. Have your property taxes or insurance premiums exploded recently? Are you currently stuck renting because a corporation outbid you? Tell me your exact situation in the comments below. I read every single one of them to understand exactly what is happening on the ground in your community. To make sure you stay ahead of this corrupt financial system and learn how to truly protect your family's wealth, subscribe to the channel with notifications turned on. Stay smart, do not fall for the trap, and I will see you in the next video.